Verse 75. Sri Vishnu Sahasranaama Stotram. Sadgatihi Satkruti Satta Sadbhuti Satparayanaha Shuraseno Yadusreshtaha Sannivasaha Suyamunaha Sadgatihi Satkruti Satta Sadbhuti Satparayanaha Shurasenah Yadusreshtaha Sannivasaha Suyamunaha. This verse has 9 names. Almost all of them are related to Mahavishnu's manifestation as Lord Krishna. Sadgatihi means refuge of the virtuous. Satkritihi, one who performs good and benevolent acts for the benefit of the devotees and the universe at large. Satta, the supreme, represents the state of ultimate goodness, bliss. Sadbhutihi, the supreme, has supreme intelligence and all types of vibhutis, that is, glories. Satparayanaha, he is the supreme goal, ultimate destination of all virtuous, righteous persons. Shurasenaha, the Lord has large number of valiant armies to carry out his instructions for restoring righteousness. Yadusreshtaha, he is the chief of the Yadus, chief of the Yadava Kula. Sannivasaha is the abode of the virtuous. Vyamunaha, he is always seen along with the noble characters that we find on the Yamuna Tira, that is Gokula. Sadgatihi, Sadgatihi, he is refuge of the virtuous. Sat means virtuous people, good people, righteous persons. For them, he is the Gati, he is the destination, he is the sole refuge, he is the supreme goal of all good and noble people, noble seekers. Sat. Sat means the good. Here it denotes those persons who know about the existence of Brahman, those who are able to comprehend the Supreme Being, those who understand that the entire universe is not different from the Supreme Being, that entire universe is only one of his manifestations. Upanishad says, Asmi Brahma iti chet Veda Santamenam Tato Viduhu. If a person knows about existence of Brahma, then the wise call him good. Here, existence of Brahma means Brahman, which is all pervasive, pervading. But he also means a noble intellect, again, which indicates and which denotes the same supreme being, the Bhagavan. Sri Krishna, right from his childhood, destroyed the evil Rakshasa who were sent one by Kamsa to kill Krishna when he was even a baby and a small boy. But Sri Krishna, he became not only defeated all these Rakshasas and killed them, but he himself became a Sadgatihi, a protector for all the righteous persons. And to protect the righteous individuals, performs any number of good acts. Sat Kritihi, good acts. He is full of good actions. Lord Hari is the one who maintains the rhythm of creation and he preserves the logic in creation. Even through his destructive, so called destructive activities, there is creation only for the sake of the individual and for the good of the world. The best example is Mahavishnu taking incarnations again and again to rescue his devotees, Jaya and Vijaya, who were the guardians, who were the gatekeepers of Vaikuntha. Because of a curse, they were forced to be born as Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipa, Ravana and Kumbhakarna, Shishupala and Dantavaktra in three yugas. Treta Yuga, first Krita Yuga, Treta Yuga, and Dwapara Yuga. So Mahavishnu took manifestation along with them. He also the earth, but he had to kill them. By why? His intention was not to harm them. Intention was to liberate them and help them to come back as early as possible to his own abode, that is Vaikuntha. So all the actions of Mahavishnu are totally in harmony and they are meant for establishment or re-establishment of peace. Dharma samsapanarthaya. Now, this is may not be easy to understand, but a person who knows in true light, who really understands this about this birth and actions of the divine being, Lord Krishna says, such a person is not born again. He comes to him. This comes in verse 9 of chapter 4. Janma karma cha me divyam evam yo vetti tattvataha त्यक्त्वा देहं पुनर्जन्म नैति माम एति सह अर्जुना my my jन्म is divyam, my karma is divyam, यह एवं वेत्ति तत्वतः, one who understands this clearly, saha, such a person, त्यक्त्वा deham, after giving up the body, punah janma, he will not have punarjanma, na punarjanma, eti mam, he comes to me, Arjuna. This is what Lord Krishna says. Being the sole refuge of all righteous persons, he denotes the state of ultimate goodness, the state of absolute permanence. This is called Satta. Satta is a state of goodness. He is the Lord, one without a second. Ekam eva advitiyam, one without a second. Therefore, he remains the same without any sort of a differences, any change in state, like what happens to human beings. We are born, we we grow, when we start slowly decaying, affected by diseases, ultimately we die. So these type of changes will not happen in the case of the Supreme Being. Brahman Advitiyam Ekam. This is also declared in Chandogya Upanishad. And whatever is seen anywhere is nothing but Brahman. For example, ornaments can be big or small. They can be very, very simple in design, or it may be having intricate designs. But basically, they are all nothing but underlying gold. Similarly, pottery can be of different sizes, different shapes, and different colors, etc. But they're all nothing but the underlying clay. Similarly, the entire universe of various forms and names, they may look different, but they are not. Only we have an illusion of diversity or a duality. But in reality, all these are not nothing but nothing other than mere reflections of the same one individual entity, which is called Satta, the state of beingness. Because we are all beings. We are beings only because of presence of the Supreme Being in us. The Supreme, who is essential, whose very existence of as supreme intelligence, he has greatest of glories, Vibhuti. So he's called Sadbhuti, Sadbhutihi. Sadbhutihi means supreme intelligence or rich, extensive. various types of glories. All these are beautifully described in Vibhuti Yoga, chapter 10 of Srimad Bhagavad Gita. There are a number of verses, maybe almost 30 verses are there, which describe, many of them describe three or four Vibhutis of the Lord. The term glories means wealth, power, happiness. It also denotes one who has taken various incarnations and exhibiting in all of them the glories of the Supreme Being, whether it is a Parashurama, whether it is a Rama, whether it is a Krishna, or whether it is a Varahavatara or a Nrsimhavatara. In all these manifestations, or Vamanavatara, in every manifestation, Mahavishnu has shown different types of vibhutis. So it's all his sadbhuti. And these are immeasurable. His Lord glories are so immeasurable. His splendor is unlimited. It is very, very difficult to understand him. This can be understood only by the great yogis, and that too when they are in the highest state of a meditation. This is what is mentioned in one of the Dhyana slokas of Srimad Bhagavad Gita. It says, Dhyanavastita tadgatena manasa pashanti yam yoginaha. Dhyanavastadgatena manasa pashanti yam yoginaha. Yasyantam, yasya antam na viduhu surasura. He is one supreme being whom even the devas know not. Sura, devas and demons, devas and asuras, sura and asura, none of them know. Only the yogis can perceive his eternal glory in deep meditation. Dhyana vastita tadgatena manasa. Dhyana vastita manasa. Only through that they are able to perceive his glory. Now, for example, Sri Krishna, he was born to Devaki and Vasudeva. He was nurtured by foster parents Yashoda and Nandagopala. He destroyed Kamsa and all his demons. He saved the honor of Draupadi in the Kaurav Sabha. He acted as an ambassador of peace to avert the destructive war which ultimately happened between Pandavas and Kauravas. And in the Kurukshetra battlefield, he taught the immortal Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna to motivate him to take up arms and fight for righteousness. And Lord Krishna was a darling of all the gopis. He was a friend of Kuchela, husband of friend, philosopher, and guide of Arjuna. And he was the beloved god of Bhishma, Vidura, Sanjaya, and Mother Kunti. Because these four names are mentioned because they in their lifetime itself knew Krishna was none other than the Supreme Mahavishnu. Now, such glories which have been shown by him are immense. All these glories were shown as Krishna. No wonder Krishna became the supreme goal of the virtuous. Sat Parayanaha. Sat Parayanaha. Sat Parayanaha. One means supreme goal of the virtuous. Supreme goal for the Sat. Sat here means the noble and virtuous persons who pursue the path of truth. Here, Sat means those who are knowers of Brahman. He himself is the ultimate object of all meditation of all the yogis. When they meditate, for example, Lord Shiva himself is always lost in dhyana. When Mother Parvati asked him, or somebody asked him, you yourself are the Supreme Lord. On whom do you meditate? You know what he said? He said, Sri Rama Rama Rameti Rame Rame Manorame Sahasranaama Tattulyam Rama Nama Varaname. Whether it is Rama or Krishna or Mahavishnu or even Lord Shiva is all one same supreme consciousness. Krishna was the sole refuge for the Pandavas. He was their strength. He was their hope. He was their inspiration. He sustained them, but for Krishna's continuous support at every stage, Pandavas would have been totally lost. They could not have got back their kingdom. They also accepted. They also understand how much they were indebted to Lord Krishna. In achieving his objectives, the Supreme has always had valiant armies at his disposal. So it's called Shurasenaha. Shurasena means one with the valiant armies. Yes, heroic and valiant armies. The incarnations of Rama and Krishna are denoted by this name, indicated by this name. Lord Rama, for instance, had at his disposal the army of countless vanaras and bhallukas, monkeys and bears. Who were they? They were all manifestations of various deities. On the orders of Lord Brahma, all these gods and goddesses, all these superpowers, all yakshas, gandharvas, they were born on the earth as vanaras and bhardukas to be available, to be at the disposal of Mahavishnu as Rama in his fight with Ravana. And in the battlefield, Rama was protected on both the sides by two bodyguards. Who were they? Lakshmana and Hanuman. They were his bodyguards. Now, as Krishna, the Pandavas and the huge army was his beck and call. In fact, he took Bhima and Arjuna with him to put an end to otherwise invincible Jarasandha. Jarasandha attacked Mathura a number of times, and every time Krishna was not able to really repel back Jarasandha and to avoid this nuisance of again and again being attacked and his people being troubled by Jarasandha. Krishna migrated from Mathura to distant Dwaraka. And when Yudhishthira wanted to conduct the Rashtriya Yagna, Krishna realized that as long as Jarasandha was available, was in was there to oppose, Yudhishthira cannot be called an emperor. So instead of he knew Jarasandha could be defeated not by him. So he took Bhima Arjuna with him, and very cleverly he brought about the end of Jarasandha. Apart from this, all the saints and all the sages, all righteous persons, in a way, they form the army of Lord Krishna, Lord Rama, or anybody. So, so he's called Shurasenaha. So quite naturally, Krishna became the chief of the Yadus, Yadusreshtaha, chief of the Yadus, best among the Yadava clan. Of course, this again refers to Mahavishnu as Krishna, who was the glory of the Yadavas. As we know, Krishna was not a prince. Krishna did never became the king even of Yadavas because he was not even the eldest. Balrama was elder to him, but nevertheless, Krishna was a de facto chief of the Yadavas, being Yadusreshtaha, the best among the Yadavas. Now, such a person is abode all virtuous people. Sannivasaha. Sannivasaha means Sat Nivasaha. He is the abode Nivasaha, abode of Sat, abode of the virtuous people, abode of the good people. He is called Sannivasaha. Satam Vidusham Ashrayah Sannivasaha. The great souls of realization come to live in him, the self, the supreme self. He's the supreme self. They come to realize, people who realize him, they merge with him. So they immerse in God consciousness, what we call Krishna consciousness. They radiate all around from that abode their divinity. We can see divinity radiating from these persons who are immersed in God consciousness. Lord Krishna himself says in chapter 5, verse 28, Yatendriya Mano Buddhihi Munir Moksha Parayanaha Yata Indriya Manaha Buddhihi Munihi Moksha Parayanaha. Having controlled the senses, the mind, and the intellect, Munir Moksha Parayana Munihi, those persons who have liberation as their goal. Such people, vigate cha bhaya krodha, vigata icha bhaya krodha, free from desire, anger, and fear. Icha bhaya krodha, vigataha, free from desire, anger, and fear. Yaha sada mukta eva saha. Such a person is liberated forever. Yatendriya mano buddhihi munirmokshaparayanah vigatecha bhayakrodha yaka sada mukta eva saha. Krishna says, my devotee realizing the truth, the gnayam, and truth is the gnayam. Where is it? Seated in the hearts of all. It is with us only. Enters into my being. Devotee who identifies himself consciousness residing in him already, he totally merges with the Supreme Being. That is what is meant here. Now, Lord Krishna, who was living on the banks of the Yamuna, he was attended by all the other good Yamuna Tiravasis, all other people living on the banks of the Yamuna. They were his companions. They were always extremely happy to be with him. Suyamunaha, attended by the good Yamuna Tiravasis, is attended by the righteous Yamunas. Yamunas, Yamunas here, Yamuna. Yamunas here means the Gopas and the Gopis living on the Yamuna banks. Gopas denote not just the keepers of cow, but they are the preservers, custodians, sacred milk of knowledge, that is Upanishads. They are the one that preserving the wealth of Upanishads. They are called Gopas, Yamunaha. They are the persons who are always companions of Lord Krishna. Krishna has a wonderful family. Biological parents, Devaki and Vasudeva. Foster parents, Yashoda and Nandagopala. Siblings, Balarama and Subhadra. Playmates, Radha and innumerable gopis and gopas. As companions, the cows, the cattle, the birds and bees, the plants and the trees, the waters of Yamuna. All these are actually considered to be manifestations of the divine beings who had the privilege of being born along with Krishna and lived in his surroundings. Extremely privileged to have his company during Krishna's formative years. All of them became sacred by mere touch, by the touch, or by his mere presence, even with no physical touch. Maybe because they were in the same area in which Lord Krishna lived, they all became sacred. For that matter, it is said, every grain of sand on the banks of river Yamuna was indeed blessed to be there by Lord Krishna. On this very, very happy, auspicious note, we'll conclude this verse. Asato ma sadgamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya mrityorma amrutangamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.